welcome back. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange says he'd agree to US extradition if Obama gives clemency to whistleblower Chelsea Manning. Here's Anastasia Churkina with the details.
Julian Assange could essentially walk out of that embassy right there after all these years if the U.S. president in his very final days decides to pardon Chelsea Manning. Now, in a tweet, WikiLeaks has said, quote, if Obama grants Manning clemency, Assange will agree to U.S. extradition despite clear unconstitutionality of DOJ. Now, this, of course, would be a major development in the Manning case, who is currently serving 35 years in solitary confinement in the U.S. for providing 700,000 sensitive documents to WikiLeaks that, of course, shed lots of light on the activities of the U.S., most notably in the Iraq War. And we have to say that supporters of Manning the world over have been calling for her to be released and to be pardoned by President Obama in these final days before he steps down. And certainly we do know that Manning has carried out already 2 suicide attempts, so calls are becoming stronger and stronger for her to be released from prison, because for many she is a hero for helping shed light on the information that was published by WikiLeaks. And of course, in the Assange case, this would also be a major development. He has been holed up in that embassy since June 2012, fearing leaving the embassy premises because he, of course, thinks he would be extradited to Sweden, where he is facing rape-related allegations, which he denies, and he believes he would be extradited to the U.S. for politically motivated reasons, and for good reason, of course, because even politicians like Hillary Clinton, at some point we've heard her calling for Assange to be struck by a drone, as well as calls like this from some in the political establishment.
We got special ops forces. I mean, the dead man can't leak stuff. This guy's a traitor, a treasonous, and he has broken every law of the United States. The guy ought to be, and I'm not for the death penalty, so if I'm not for the death penalty, the only one to do it, illegally shoot the son of a...
And although the White House, of course, indicated that a clemency for Manning is quite unlikely, now in these very, very final days, who knows, maybe in exchange for Julian Assange extradition, they would change their mind. But we'll, of course, be watching this.
In the remote Kamchatka region of Russia, a disturbing incident has surfaced of an ambulance unable to get to a dying patient due to a car blocking the road. The case is sparking a massive online controversy.
Уступи дорогу быстро! Дорогу уступи, там больной лежит! Вот возьми туда и заедь, пока ГАИ не вызвали.
Well, RT's Nadira Tudor joins me in the studio now to shed some more light on this situation. Nadira, can you explain more to us about what we've just seen?
Pretty horrendous, if I explain the situation. An ambulance was trying to reach a dying man. They were blocked by a group of men in a car who refused to let them pass, and the consequences were, when they arrived at the scene to help the guy, he actually died. Now, the local authorities, they are furious, obviously. They want to change the laws. The men can get away with this behaviour. At worst, they would be charged less than $10 for this. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has also commented on this incident, saying that the laws need to be revisited. This story's gone viral on Russian social media, and it is clear that social media now is being used as a tool to highlight social injustice.
And this isn't an isolated case, is it? There's also another high-profile case of social injustice that we've seen recently.
Yeah, there certainly is. I mean, this is really quite a sad case. A woman had to crawl up 28 steps in a hospital. She was going to have an X-ray, despite the fact that she had a broken leg. Now, her daughter videoed the humiliating circumstances here, and we can hear what they both had to say.
Чувство бессилия.
I felt completely hopeless and in despair. I was shocked. I cried because I didn't know what to do. A lady offered me a shoulder to lean on, but she was smaller than me, so it wouldn't have been right. So then I decided to crawl. When we asked about the lift, we were told that it was out of service. They told me there was a wheelchair, but at another clinic, and anyway, they didn't have any ramps.
I called various official bodies. The Consumer Protection Agency told me it's not their concern. The hospital had never answered me. The head ministry apologized on the phone and said they'd deal with the situation.
Now, there has been official responses to that particular incident from the prosecutor's office and the hospital. The head of the hospital said he didn't believe that none of his staff would assist the lady. In fact, he's been subsequently fired. Now, there's been a lot of reaction on Twitter about the social injustice acts, and what's baffling is that everyone is aware that these videos can emerge online and show evidence of these misconduct, yet it doesn't seem to prevent misconduct from happening.
Well, Nadira, thanks for bringing us the details and highlighting these videos. It's definitely stories that deserve attention. Nadira Tudor, thanks. Czech hockey fans booed throughout the Russian national anthem after their national team lost to Russia in the quarter-final game of the Women's Youth World Championship. It was a rather aggressive match that saw a major fight halfway through. The Russian team continued to sing despite the disruption and eventually drowned out the boos. Well, the heightened tensions came in the wake of an international anti-doping group of 19 countries making calls for Russia to be excluded from all international competitions because of the doping scandal. And even if it is not banned, the former head of WADA says that if enough teams boycott the 2018 Football World Cup, Russia could be stripped of the right to host it. Well, we spoke with Joel Bouzou, former world pentathlon champion and president of the World Olympian Association. He believes that all clean athletes should be able to compete regardless of their nationality.
Everybody is pointing out on Russia. I think there is also a lot of political interference on that. Let's not forget that there have been also some international federations with corruption inside, in the frame of doping also, and all of that has to be addressed together. For us, WA, we want clean athletes to be protected, and we want clean athletes to have the right to take part, even when they are Russian. And personally, I'm very sad that some clean athletes could not take part in the Rio Olympic Games. Now, yes, the problem is important, but the problem is addressed. We trust the people in power now to do the right steps. I think there are good people in positions to do the right steps for the future. And there should be a special procedure to protect clean athletes, independently tested, even when their government or their NOC is penalized. Clean athletes should have the right to compete, whatever the conditions are.